Here we are, part 2, 25th of July, 2024. The time is 1:52 p.m. It blipped off when I put my phone back on the little wire stand for it. I don't know why it's doing that. I really don't know why, but it is what it is. So we continue on with today's readings of Even Date, part 2. Just have to navigate back because I've lost my spot as well. Right, I've just shown you the photograph of my home city, Wellington, New Zealand. And then I write, taking my handsome beau for a walk as he needs to move his body and smell the smells. 25th of July 2017. Bloody bollocking tooth pain. Again, I'm so over this. I also had really sore joints last night. Arthritis from the cold night change, upset tummy, first in weeks as I've been taking Slippery Elm to replace the gastro stop. Today I just felt generally weak and unwell, but I have upset myself about my mother's dead and dying sheep. Now, 2 teeth, one just filled last week, are playing up. I just need to fight my way through this. Teeth have been major problems since December last year. If this keeps up, I will just get them to rip them all out. I'm glad I didn't, because it was easily fixed. They were just incompetent, by the way. Again, QE2 hospital, by the gods. I know, hun, I'm replying to someone. I have fought for 52 years to keep my teeth, even spent $10,000 on the front ones from my small inheritance as I looked dreadful with the mess the dental hospital made of them over the years. To be honest, if this shit keeps happening, fuck it. I would rather be dead than suffer any more. My dentist at the hospital informed me last week that if the root canaled one doesn't heal, she will finally send me to a specialist. Say what? Why didn't she do that months ago? Poverty means below standard dental care. And yes, I am furious. And yes, I am disgusted. And yes, my constantly inflamed teeth are probably killing me internally. But I just grit them and bear it and try to hang on day by day, month by month. No other choice. John, that's the crazy Romanian neighbour that was so sadistic with his dying sheep, the remaining dying sheep, the other one had died. John called me over. Missy is badly infected to the mandibular bone. I told him she needs to be put to sleep and to ring the RSPCA as they will possibly come out to do it. Poor sheep. I feel so bad for her. Life and death at Holland Park. God, even my jaw starts aching and with that memory of that sheep that just went out, complete sympathy, zip right along my jaw. Or was it because I'm talking about my teeth? I am healthy. I am healthy. I am healthy. Then I had to fix my new fence as Beauregard got out and followed me to John's. Lucky I had more steel mesh and some more wire I cut to go along the bottom. Those idiots from housing really did a crappy job. Huge gaps underneath. Infuriating. I've just come in after securing the last of the mesh. Here I write, I am devastated for the sheep, Rachel Walsh wrote. She will be out of pain and no longer suffering. Rejoice, for she will be welcomed home by loved ones and guides. Send her your love. She loves you very much, and she will be just fine in heaven. There is nothing to be sad about where she is going. You can talk to her any time. She will hear you, and she'll send you her love and gratefulness for all the love and kindness you have given her. I simply put a like because it's true. It's true, there's love on the other side. All the love we never received on this side of the veil, but that sheep should never have been put through that. It was abhorrent. Almost 3 p.m. The day has gone quickly. I have not felt well today. Ugh, but the sunshine has been a lovely balm to a tormented soul. Time to take Beauregard and Charlie for a walk, shake off the demons from the past. They have nothing new to teach me, except pain. Last night, Crystal messaged Jared and sent him photos of her current trip in Ireland. She was on a bus to go to see the Giant's Causeway in the north of Ireland. She had also been to see the Pillar of Destiny and the Hill of Tara, where the Fae hang out. Fairy royalty, actually, at the Hill of Tara. She sent a photo of a beautiful tree covered in different coloured ribbons. I am delighted, as I was so very angry and disappointed that on her last sojourn in Ireland for 8 months, she saw nothing of the sacred sites, except for kissing the Blarney Stone, which I deemed imperative for every actor or talebearer. She is finally enjoying the spiritual journey she promised me when she went to Europe. I am so delighted. She's actually doing what I always wanted to do, by the way, so I was even more delighted. Someone in my bloodlines got to see the sacred and holy sites. She was unable to commune with the Fae at Tara as some bloody noisy tourists came too near her and she could not tune in. I would have told them to bugger off. My daughter is still so yielding and accepting of boundary violations. But of course she is still young. I am satisfied that the Fae will have been pleased she paid homage, though. Perhaps if we are lucky, she will have a wee blessing of her own to impart to the world. Me wanting to be a grandmother, sad but true. She said she meditated at the Pillar of Destiny and she heard it roar. It is a large phallic-looking rock. I wonder what it roaring at her means. I wish she could also get to Israel and visit the Western Wall, Masada, other amazing spiritual sites from our other beloved traditions. Makom. I was in this place and you did not know it, meaning God was in this place. Gates to holiness everywhere. You just have to know where to look and before whom you stand. Awesome, magical, beautiful, blessed. While in Ireland, she is collecting all her stuff she stashed with 3 different friends and will be sending some of it back home in preparation for her return in December. 5 months to go. I am getting excited. So I did worry a lot about her being overseas, all alone, not enough money, far from any chance of me even being close by to protect her. And after all that stress and worry, here we are estranged. Oh, the irony. Oh, the fucking irony. But it is what it is. My daughters are adult women. They live by their own choices. Live by the sword, die by the sword. Not willing to be at least friends to me or be in my energy. There's nothing I can do about it but accept. Don't have to like it, but just reach that point of acceptance, people of Earth. That's why I'm so grateful for the love being flowed to me by my friends in the past year. It's been very kind and loving of you. I appreciate you all. I've got that much, so little to look forward to really, but it is what it is. 25th of July 2016. Beauregard woke me up not long ago. I am grateful. I had been having nightmares. Early this morning I dreamed I was breastfeeding great quantities of milk, which I had lashings of when I was feeding my babies, so much so that it poured out of me. But after I removed the infant from my breast, I sat a while and looked down at my chest. I saw blood flowing thickly from both nipples, with great clots of it. I thought, ooh, how much did the baby drink of that? Then the dream ended. I know I was triggered by the imagery in a scene on a TV show last night. A young man got shot in the head as he was carrying milk and bread home from the local shop. When he hit the ground, it showed the blood from his head wound blending with the pool of milk that oozed from the broken milk bottle. Powerful, poignant image. Life forces merging at the point of his death. So because Psychedelic Dreamer is very suggestible, she regurgitates it out of her psyche in the night. Great cleansing, purging of horror. What I do best. Warrior of complex PTSD. In point of fact, my breasts have been very tender since I increased my dose of HRT, which also caused me to blow out my own gallbladder, by the way. Great lumps of burning pain. Bras hurt, clothes hurt. Some days are worse than others. I went braless at home for a week or two. I might do that again. They do feel like they are bleeding or sore from lactating. I still, after 30 years, remember what that felt like, also mastitis. Motherhood was a great gift and a curse. But it taught me to love my female body in ways I had not quite integrated at 19 and or 20, and again at 22. It was not until Jasmine was born that I fully embraced my sexuality, femininity, and fecundity without fear or trepidation. Her birth liberated me from fear of my own self. I realize this morning, because there is a word to describe it now, that I am gender fluid. I have many masculine traits. I fight like a man, fight off abusers, suffer no fools. I like working with my hands, attempting handyman's jobs. I eat voraciously and with gusto, like a man. I can drink better than most men, but I have a fear, a healthy one, of alcoholism, as that figured large in my childhood, so I control how much and how often I drink. I wear a bikie jacket, a man's one, with great pride. Men desire me and fear me in equal measure. In classic psychology and gender differences, they either want to fuck me or fight me, sometimes at the same time. I come from a father who was one of 7 wild, loutish, pugilistic, obnoxious brothers. My dad was very violent, not physically to us, but he did smash things and get into bar fights. But he was also very sensitive and or emotional. So you can imagine my horror at myself getting into a fight 2 weekends ago. I do not ever really choose to be violent or be like my old man, am I right? But if push comes to shove and you push me too far, babies, it is what it is. He had trouble managing his emotions, which was a weakness. Gift, my bastard evil mother, exploited at every opportunity. She rode his instability like a wild steppes horse in Upper Mongolia, without the discipline or training to know how to tame or control such immense spiritual and emotional power. As a child, it was I who had to diffuse the wildness and the ferocity. My parents were shameless screamers. So I grew up to be angry, fierce, wild, never truly tamed. I will not be broken down. I have been broken by my parents, by abuse at school, home, work, university, shul, society, enough. And even hospital admin staff had a ride, did they not? No, I don't fit in, and yes, I am a freak of nature. I love it. I have learned to love my precarious individuality, to live with it. So excuse me while I scream now, or if I sit, legs apart, in long pants, only as I am a lady, you know. And I put winky face. Smoking a cigarette or small cigar, my favourite masculine disassociations, and I rarely smoke, people. I've got cigars in my bag at the moment, but rarely do you see me ever smoke. If I'm smoking, I'm brewing something, or it's my alter ego, or my protective voodoo god, Papa Legba, demands a smoke as an obeisance and as an offering before the gods, by the way. So if you see me smoking cigars, wee Willems, it's all I can afford, it's because I'm channeling a higher power and I'm calling upon them for protection, or they have come down to me to offer me protection. Actually, it's interesting, I bought those cigars 3 weeks ago and I even questioned, what do you want that for? Your lungs are bad at the moment. The last thing you need to be doing right now, Tanya, is smoking. But I went with it and I needed it that night. Oh, by the gods, did I need that. So my angels, my spirit people, they already knew. They knew what was to come. Unfortunately, they didn't bother to give me the heads up and prepare me properly, but they made sure I had something in my toolkit to calm me down after the event. It's actually quite astonishing and amazing in a way. They never quite give me the full story though. I could have maybe circumvented that. But if it happened and it was not circumvented and the gods had already given me the cigars, well, made me buy my own cigars, then there was a higher reason for that is beyond my mortal ken. So I don't question, I just go with the flow. Drinking Jack Daniels with Coke, contemplating life, God, art, nature, or my tender breasts for a while. I love my inner man. I love my woman. I adore and will die to protect my inner child. Miss Five, my fierce, frenzied little warrior goddess. So fierce, so spiritual, and so protective, even of my fucked up, fuck-knuckled parents. All of them. Too weak, greedy, selfish, evil to protect me as a child. Miss Five is my default state because the sexual abuse didn't start till I was 6. So my Miss Five inner child is pristine and the most fearsome and most powerful of all my protective parts of my psyche, or I guess alter egos. Not that I disassociate. I don't have DID per se, but I do have various spiritual aspects that make up my composites of my psyche. And Miss Five, don't ever fuck with Miss Five. If you've knocked down Mama T and the Tanya and Psychedelic Dreamer, and you've fended off my wolf spirit, and you get to Miss Five, be afraid. Be very, very afraid. Even I fear that aspect of my being, because she's untainted and perfect, and hence has a direct communion with the gods in her pristine perfection, untainted by any mortal. Don't ever underestimate the power of little Miss Five. And well, anyway, I keep it all very well blended and very well contained so I can survive in this crazy, fucked up current paradigm where everyone's even more disturbed than I ever was as a child because of what's been unleashed upon us. Young people coming to be threatening with me in recent weeks in the club, hating on older women, blaming us for their malaise. Well, I didn't do that to you, my darlings. I fought against it every inch of the way. So don't bring your hostility and your anger to me. Direct it at the ones that did do it to you, like Anastasia Palaszczuk and Stephen Miles, and I forget the name of the chief medical officer at the time, Jared somebody. They're the ones you should be unleashing your rage towards. Don't bring it to Mama T or Miss Five. She tried hard to keep you safe. On social media, where I was shadow banned and silenced and censored, but she tried very, very hard. So your rage is justifiable. I get it. I understand it. It's worthy and it's righteous, but directed at the right people, is what I'm saying. Here I write, so I did the job myself. I went to safe houses where my light was respected, even fated. Thank you, June Robertson, my only true mother. The abuse continued unabated, but I had somewhere to go, playing with Lynn, eating dinner with Lynn, my first true sister. Escaping reality with Lynn, living as we did at the beach. We were the little men trapped in female bodies. We were 10 feet tall and bulletproof. We were free. We were almost heavenly creatures, except for not being able to identify a brake line. We were marvellous. To you, Lynn Robertson. Don't think she watches my YouTube channel, but The love remains. Might not have seen you since January 2005, but the love remains always and forever. We still are marvellous. Happy birthday tomorrow, Lynn Robertson. You were and are still my hero. Love you. Just thinking I mixed up someone's birth. I thought I mixed up someone's birthday. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Guru, Facebook keeps taking chunks of my story, but it is there in the edit history, which has not vanished completely. I'll have to update my iPhone and hope that stops it. Rachel wrote, good idea, definitely worth a try, Tanya. I can't help much more, I'm sorry, hardly use net on phone and I own an Android. Currently switching to a new phone which takes time to set it up. Maybe I will learn more after that. I also got my first tablet, had it all a week and still haven't set it up. A little scared, lol. I'll have to toughen up. I'm always on the computer at home. And I replied, yeah, I had my laptop 6 months before I stopped being afraid of actually using it. It's weird. Which is why when I write my usual stream of conscious word vomit and it is flowing beautifully and intense, that Facebook or iPhone glitches stealing my words or entire paragraphs sends me into a psychotic bundle of neurotic fury. It is simply put, just not cricket. It is hard for me to think clearly at the best of times. I finally finished the last story. I had to write it longhand, copied from the edit history, then type it back in. I lost another really good one earlier today. Can't be bothered attempting to replicate it now. It might pop back into my psyche another time. It was about shul, being gender fluid, and my usual spiritual ramblings. My friend Michael Brecker wrote, either that or Control-C and delete and start over. I wrote this great little story just before, and mid-sentence my Facebook blipped off and I lost the lot. So mad right now. This shall pass, but don't you hate when your creativity is stymied by a glitching iPhone or Facebook or the angels? I will not be silenced, stamps feet and throws myself into the air, twirling, landing with a crash. Hashem moves in mysterious ways, but I will not be silenced. So instead my vibe was seriously interrupted, as I can't remember what I wrote now. Gotta go with the flow, or blow. Here I write, I'm still recovering from extreme exhaustion, but my chest seems temporarily better. I feel happy too. Maybe my last long mini death is subsiding and I am revivifying myself for a few more weeks or months. Here I am, 8 years later. I've done well, haven't I? I've really done well, fighting every day for my breath and my existence on this planet. I hope so. I can't keep doing the zombie death dance for much longer. And Lynn Robertson replied, try some placebo instead by Nancy Boy. And I replied, awesome. My beautiful friend Lynn, my other friend Lynn, recently told me that my life mirrors the parable fairy story of Snow White. I found that kind of interesting. Firstly, I was born with such white skin and Titian red hair until it all fell out 6 months later. My skin would not tan in New Zealand, burnt and peeled, but never tanned. My mother used to push my pram out into the sun until my father's mother instructed her not to bother. She is like Snow, Morris. No matter what we did, he looked like he'd fallen into the flour canister. Give it up. In truth, I never boasted a tan until I migrated to Brisbane. The light rays hit the flesh at a different angle or intensity, or a different mix of UV rays. Also, like in Snow White, my mother tried to kill me numerous times, usually from neglect, but later in life hoping she would drive me to suicide. She had enabled so many men in abusing me: Trevor, Case, Michael, later after I left my marriage, Terry, David Davidson, last and worst of them all, Buck Shearer. Even David Davidson had the shred of human decency to be horrified when I succinctly pointed out how Buck and Mum had manipulated him, and the lengths, a one-way ticket to Israel, that they were prepared to go to take my children and utterly destroy me. No fucking pedophile was ever going to get access to my children. I am not my mother. Like Snow White, I was saved by a man who loved me unconditionally and would not become my destroyer, Jared. My mother paid him $20 and insisted he look after me, but he rejected her bribery. A real man and a true friend, by the way. At the time, I just laughed. Is that my current bride price? That is what she paid my childhood friend, Philip Hodemakers, too. For lunch, darling. He did take that money and use it to buy me lunch. Not a real man. A man open to bribery by a narcissistic mother is piss weak and dishonouring, by the way. Surely I am worth more than 20 lousy dollars. Shh. Indeed, way, way more. He calmed down, and together with Lynn, who also saw through my mother's sociopathic manipulations, they became my staunch supporters, my true family, not of blood, but of heart and soul, and of honour and integrity, and that they couldn't be bought or bribed or tricked or manipulated by my mother or Buck, unlike the rest of them. They held me up and would have reached for me if they could. They helped me bury my dead, evil stepfather, and then, much later on, my mother, well, not bury, but scatter their cremated ashes. They sat with me and watched the adult guardians sell me out to that bastard Buck, and again sat with me during the will dispute and watched me be stripped bare again. But they strengthened me in the time of my life when I was a sleeping zombie, a golem, an automaton, a living dead creature of manifest light and love. They could not, would not let me die. Like Snow White, I spent 20 years asleep, not coping, poisoned by the apple that would not, could not fall far from that malevolent tree of my life, pure evil and envy that dogged me for decades, now 5 decades, well, now almost 6 babies. Envious of what? My white skin, or my burning white, passionate heart of fire, my desire for love, acceptance, respect, my love of God and righteousness, my faith in God's vengeance and justice, even if only served too little or too late, in a cold dish of curdled, mottled hatred, but a most delicious feast I ever tasted, as it proved to me and to all the worlds that I was loved, and I was heard, and I was valued, even if only by an invisible being, that I would be healed and lifted high upon invisible shoulders, and danced with, sung to, and enlightened, instead of being slighted and blighted. For like in Snow White, I have awaited the kiss of life from my own personal prince. Well, I need a king now, my age, too old for a princeling, am I right? He never came, or did he? I might never know. To awaken me and bring bliss and life back to my golem soul. To live happily ever after. I told my psychiatrist about Lynn's theory. He saw it too. He said, "You are fully awake now, Snow White. Be happy." And so I shall. To my beloved ones who wish me to be happy. I have spat out that poisoned wormead apple that choked and smothered me. I sup instead from the life-affirming ambrosia of the gods. My God has blessed me with such love, joy, healing, validation, but also such vengeance that I know categorically, without any doubt, that I am loved, valued, wanted here on earth, in this time and in this place. A terrifying, humbling thought. And I wrote that 8 years ago, almost a year after my suicide attempt. Interesting, innit? Yes, my love, Charlie. At Jared's new home, it is lovely. I helped him unpack a few boxes before we could take it no longer. So now we are sipping wine and partaking of delicious breeze, and now cooking roast vegetables and corned beef. Yum. Beauregard has tried to mark his territory and chew Jared's new rug. Now just had dog sausage, which he gobbled down in one inhalation. Happy dog. He also took to bark at some invisible entity at the back door. The neighbouring dogs joined in. Sirens went by, but for once Beauregard neglected to howl, maybe because he is a visitor. Harvey, as usual, rose above it all by claiming Jared's or my lap because he finds Beauregard incredibly annoying. A good night for all of us. This is in response, I think, to my cousin mentioning one of my uncles, I think my Uncle Bruce, because I reply, yes, my mother was quite fond of him. Did you know that she was such a bloody femme fatale that two of our uncles propositioned her for sex while she was engaged to David, my father David. I have a fair idea which two, laughing my ass off. Not very loyal brothers, were they? She expressed a kind of gleeful outrage. I used to just roll my eyes. I think it was Bruce and Snow, but it could have been your dad, laughing my ass off. 7 brothers to choose from. Pop told Gisela, well, love, you picked the runt of the litter, Dad being the shortest of them all, with his violent temper. Jesus. Pop was the only one could manage him. I had a sense that Pop was around me last week, as he liked to smoke a cigar at Christmas, and I had a craving for a cigar. Also, someone fucking supernatural is tweaking my romantic life in weird but delightful ways. This was back in 2016, so I don't even remember who that person was. But anyway, probably that idiot Dave, am I right? Well, he got tweaked right out of my heart. Mind, body, soul complex, for which I am glad. No more fake lovers for Mama T or Miss Five, who remains pristine, or the Tanya. No more fake jerks or sadistic, evil, awful men. No more. 25th of July 2014. I don't know what my lungs have started playing up. The temperature hasn't changed. Anyway, I've got to go out and get something to eat soon, and then put on makeup and get ready for the party tonight, the wild dance at the Brooklyn Standard. 25th of July 2014, ready for a big night out. Here's me wearing my Austrian hat that I used to wear out dancing sometimes too. But it's lost all its lining, and it's still wearable, but it's kind of doesn't feel as comfortable, as good to wear as it used to. Oh dear goddess. Awesome night last night. Jo went off, lol. She stripped Dan. I missed it because I was eating a kebab at the kebab shop I needed to feed, lol. Jo went to work with only 3 hours sleep. I am back in my bed. Happy days. 25th of July 2012. Busy day, blood test. At long last, as I've had the form in my bag since March. Then I ordered my new glasses. Then I went to the chemist. Then I walked to my psychiatrist. Then back to Garden City for a little retail therapy. I bought a climbing rose and some fertiliser and sulphate of potash. Then I caught the bus home. I got home after dark, so we'll plant the rose tomorrow. If it's a nice day, I'll fertilise as well. Looking forward to spending time in my garden. 25th of July 2011. Tristan's song. Magic happens, and love is eternal. Don't believe me? I don't care. I know this is my truth. Just got back from a lovely walk to make up to Miss Bella for our trauma yesterday, which was finding Tristan dead up on Cavendish Road. Jared, Bella, Harvey and I were sitting at and around the table chatting. Suddenly a persistent sound, Tristan's haunting, musical yowl was perfectly reproduced in perfect tone and pitch, but alas, with a crow's accent. Jared noticed it first, and I said, I hear it too. Thought in my grief I'd gone mad. The crow continued to mimic Tristan's yowl a few more moments, carefully watching our reaction, then flew away, satisfied we'd gotten the goodbye serenade, loud and clear. Yes, my beautiful chanteur, my ranger, my boy, unremittingly yelled with such poise and dedication, usually perched on the fence between mine and my neighbour's house, camouflaged in the trees, has taught the crows how to sing, Tristan style. I was only being sentimental and cute yesterday when I stated I would hear him sing to me again. And I am touched and mystified to discover I didn't even have to wait more than a day. This amazing bird, totally unaware of the deeper meaning of its new prowess, will probably haunt me with reminders of my boy for a few more crow generations yet. And so his ginger love will go on and fill my heart with gladness, albeit some measure of bathos. So if you think I'm nuts, well, stone the bloody crows, mate. But the bird and my cat are right. Magic happens, and love is eternal. July 25th, 2009. I don't believe my tarot card today, the Tower, which signifies disaster. I actually had a lovely day today. Tomorrow is the moon. Should I worry? Or as Mad Magazine used to say, pardon me, what? Me worry? Later I wrote, my breasts are sagging, my belly is sagging, my bottom is sagging, and my brain is sagging. But everything else is fabulous, thank you very much. 25th of July 2008. Random shots of a life in limbo. Gail left, who loved me madly, actually, oddly and obsessively and kind of weirdly and inappropriately, by the way, and her granddaughter Talia on the right. And there's little Harvey is beside Gail. And here is little Talia when she was only about 4, I think, or maybe 6, because I think she'd just lost a tooth. And there was much abhorrence and distress about losing that tooth, till I reminded her that we'd all been through it. Mama T had lost teeth too when she was a little girl. I said, don't worry, they'll grow back, bigger and better than ever before. But when the big ones come back, there'll be no more replacements. So those ones you'll have to guard preciously. She was a very intelligent child, and she took it all in and stopped crying and thought deeply about it and calmed down. Lovely little girl, actually. Feral and wild and completely untamable. She had lots of issues as a child. Completely uncontrollable she was. But at her heart, she was a sweet, lovely little girl. Had a real sweetness to her. And anyway, thus concludes today's readings of Even Date. And it's been an emotional roller coaster ride for me, going through those reminders of that dreadful fucking colonoscopy and all that systemic abuse, and then the sad reminder of my beautiful Tristan singing a goodbye serenade through a crow's mimicry, spiritual goodbye. And that is the nature of living the life of the Tanya and living here at Sacred Space. And oh, there's so much bird shit there. Oh my goddess, she did a massive one all over the wall. Anyway, I'll have to deal with that. It's going to take two hands. So wherever you are in the space-time continuum, choose life, choose to be happy as much as you possibly can, given your individual circumstances. Hold your line, fight the good fight, maintain the rage, but only against those that are your actual oppressors and actually deserve your rage. Don't come stalking older people in the clubs being annoying. It won't get you anywhere, and it's pointless, and it's a sick little perverted game on your part, by the way. What else can I tell you? Get out and enjoy the sunshine and Mother Nature and live your best life, and harm ye none. So it is done. No competition with anyone. Just live your best life. Stand in your own authority and be the best version of you. Bye for now from Titania's realm, Sacred Space.